guys, we've got another way to keep your GoPro Hero 7, 6 or 5 charged while on your motorcycle. It's another product from 3BR Powersports. You may have seen this before. This is a kit that they sold that attaches to the frame that came with your GoPro and then allows you to slide a connector through here to plug into your GoPro and maintain a water resistant connection. But I don't like how bulky this is hanging off the side of your camera. So when I saw that they had this new kit, I thought I'd give it a shot. So we'll get this out of the way and get the camera out of the way. And I have already opened this and threw away the instructions and the packaging because I was too excited. I couldn't wait to do a video. So there are a few things missing in here. But the important stuff obviously is still here. Here's the case itself, and first thing you'll notice is this is really bulky anyway, so it kind of defeats the purpose of what I was trying to do with getting away from this thing. But it is a very sturdy aluminum housing, and then it also has the ability to hold 52 millimeter camera filters. And it came with a UV filter, but you could put a polarizer or I guess an ND filter, that sort of thing on there. I kind of wish that this was removable because I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not too concerned about being able to use threaded filters. And because it's not removable, the case is even bulkier. So kind of unfortunate that they went that route, but still a very heavy duty case. This will definitely protect your GoPro well. Then next thing in the bag is just the little parts and pieces. We'll get to that in a minute. And then the cord. I chose to go with the 18-inch cord. We can get rid of that. I chose to go with the 18-inch cord because when I bought this one, I got a longer cord. I think it was a 36-inch. And the way I mount my camera on my motorcycle, I don't need any more than this anyway, so the other one's always just tangled up and in the way. So now I have two of them. Really easy to put the thing together. Obviously this just slides in there, but the first thing you need to do is remove the door from your GoPro. And if you didn't know, these just snap off. There's nothing, you don't have to have any tools to do this. You just open it and pull it off. And keep it. Obviously, if you ever want your GoPro to be completely waterproof again, you need this still, because this kit makes your GoPro water resistant. You can ride in the rain with this and you'll be okay, but don't go underwater. And it just, your camera just slips in to the back of the case here. And one thing that I don't love about this is that this screw is what holds the GoPro in. And so you don't want to put a whole lot of tension on it because you'll crush the side of your GoPro. Let's pull it back out of there and show you. When you tighten this screw, it goes through the case, and they did put a little piece of protective plastic over there so it's not going to scratch your GoPro, but as you tighten it, the screw pushes through and it wedges your GoPro this way into the other side of the case to hold it. And I've only used this once and there's already a little dent in the side of my GoPro. So it would have been nice if there was a latch or, I don't know, just a different setup. I'm not an engineer, I don't know how to do it, but I don't love the way that they did it. And I was concerned at first that like, oh, that's the only thing that holds the camera in there, but it's not really, as long as you have the power cord in, because the power cord goes through this aluminum case, and when it's plugged into your camera and then through the case, your camera can't fall out the back of this. So then that almost feels like, well, maybe this was unnecessary. So that's really my only complaint with this, is that screw. Then once you have your camera inserted in here, you can go ahead and remove this trap door off of the side. And that is what lets you plug into the side of your camera. You can see there's a big cutout in the side of the case. And you take your oddly shaped USB-C cable and plug it into your GoPro. And because it's got that big overmolded chunk on the end of it, it seals onto the same place that the door used to and gives you a water resistant connection. And then this trap door goes back onto the side of the case, which is admittedly a little bit tricky. And when you tighten that down, it holds your cord in there. It's not going anywhere. There's two little feet in the bottom of the trap door that grab onto the bottom of the case itself. And then the screw at the top locks everything down together. And your GoPro, I'm pushing on it on the back side, is not coming out of here with this and the screw engaged. It's not going anywhere. Then there's no GoPro mount on the bottom of this, so you need that piece right there. These two screws, and it came with a little lanyard. I don't need that. And this is a hot shoe mount that you can mount on the top if you want to use a light or like a shotgun microphone. If you really wanted to do that, I'm not going to use the hot shoe mount, so we'll just get rid of that. I'm going to use Loctite on these two screws that hold this mount to the bottom of the case. It goes right there. Just because I really don't want those to come loose. Because if for some reason they did, your GoPro is gone with the wind. Oh, that's interesting. I just noticed that there's a 1/4-20 threaded hole in the bottom of the case, so you could use different mounts like a ram ball with a 1/4-20, or just put this on a tripod. And yeah, and the holes on the top too are 1/4-20. Don't know what you would need that for on the top, but it's got them. So let's get this thing installed. Alright, and now we've got it fully assembled. Really not a whole lot to it, just the two screws in the bottom. So my real only complaint here is that now this thing's heavy and bulky. It is more streamlined than this, just having this weird thing sticking out the side. But it's definitely well protected now. I mean, this case is going to keep your GoPro safe from flying rocks and bugs and all sorts of stuff if you're using this on a motorcycle or on the outside of a car even. And one thing that I would worry about was with the extra weight. How is this going to respond to shaking in these little tiny mounts, the GoPro mounts? I'm wondering if this is going to do a lot of rocking back and forth, or maybe even start tilting forward with the vibrations. So it will require some further testing. Right now, my initial impressions are this thing is beefy and your GoPro is definitely safe in here. And we'll just have to see how it goes from there. Alright, here we're at the front of my bike and I have a GoPro mount on my windscreen. One thing that I did differently, instead of just using adhesive tape here, this is actually a tripod adapter for a GoPro. So I drilled a hole through my windscreen and also used the adhesive tape here so this can't fall off, and I was able to really clamp it down with the screw that goes in from the backside. It's just a 1/4-20 screw like any other tripod would be, and makes for a really solid connection from the mount to the windscreen, but still the windscreen can bounce around. Luckily, if you have a GoPro Hero 7 or an 8, you've got the Hyper Smooth. I haven't noticed any sort of shaking with this mount setup, but now I wonder if this heavy case is going to cause any problems on here. Let's get this mounted on here and show you. Alright, now it's on there. That was a little tricky to get things lined up, I think because the aluminum, the 2 feet that come off of the aluminum case are a little bit thicker than the normal plastic feet would be, so it was tricky to slide it into the 3-fingered piece mounted to my windshield. But once you have everything lined up the first time, the aluminum kind of cuts its way in, and it'll be easier to line it up the next time. Alright, that is as tight as I can get the thumb screw just with my fingers. Now you've got this short little cable to run back here. On my bike I have a 12-volt connector just right here, and this cable is the perfect length to go right to that. And I have to say, this is a really simple, kind of foolproof way to put a camera, a GoPro in particular, on the front of your bike. It's super protected in this case. It looks a lot nicer than the plastic frame with that weird little piece just double stick tape to the side of it. This looks like it was meant to be this way. And if you're into this sort of thing, it gives you the ability to use threaded adapters, so that might be a plus to some people. For me, I'm not really that concerned. It does give you protection for your GoPro lens, but those lenses are replaceable too, so there's that to think about. You've got a pretty simple package this way, and if you use the GoPro Smart Remote, you've got a pretty easy way to get some awesome pictures while you're riding, or video. I use mine for pictures most of the time. I think 3BR Powersports has got a pretty cool product here, and if you'd like to know any more about this particular case or a few other things that they make, I'll link to their website down in the description. Hope you enjoyed watching. I'd appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.